Okay, you guys, I got it fixed. I got it figured out. Thank you, Scented Hair, for the follow. Welcome to the porch. Happy Friday, everybody. And I am feeling better. Thank you for those who have asked. Love you too, April. I miss ya. All right, and everybody feel free to type in your story requests in all capital letters. Hello, Scented Hair, welcome in from Ireland. In all capital letters so I can write them down on the list, and then I will make the first poll for us to vote. Welcome in, Michael. Glad to have you here on the porch. Just say an opinion, you're going back to YT. Okay. See you over there. All right, guys. I think I have most of your requests written down, so I will make the first poll for us to vote. Hi, Anthony. Happy Friday. How you doing? I miss you. Okay, Millsy. Glossette, did you send yours out again? And yeah, Lily, I got yours. I do too miss you, Anthony. What do you mean? We all miss you. Yep, big missing Anthony going on in this porch. That is the truth. Big time. Big time. Val, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the porch. Okay, you guys. The first poll is ready. Hi, Sparkles Tree. Aw, you're so sweet. Sparkle Tree, thank you. I just saw it. You're so sweet. I had some technical issues over on YT, so I'm a little frazzled, but thank you so much. You're so kind. And I'm glad to have you here on the porch with me every night now. I look forward to seeing you. All right. So the first poll is ready. And we have the Puckwudgies versus the White Witch of Rose Hall. And in the Puckwudgies, I am joined by Anthony, who's here tonight. And yes, Glossette, I saw it. Thank you. And then we have the White Witch of Rose Hall. We have the Fresno Nightcrawler Pajama Pants. And then we have the Ozarks Howler, which is the new story for the week. And then we have the Deer Woman. And you can vote in the blue box in the top left-hand corner if you're on TT. And again, we have the Puckwudgies, which has Anthony in it with me. We have the White Witch of Rose Hall. We have the Fresno Nightcrawlers, the Ozarks Howler, and the Deer Woman. Who's it gonna be? Justin over... Oh, never mind. Too late. Oh. Look at that. The Puck Wedgies is the winner. Sorry, Sparkle Tree, dear woman, did not win. But 1985, oh, Puck Wedgies won. Puck Wedgies with Anthony is the winner. And in case you guys haven't heard this one, this is the first story I have written where I have been injured. I get hurt in this story by these little creeps. And Kim loves the Puck Wedgies. She thinks they're so cute. Okay, thanks, Justin. All right, guys, I will be right back with the tale of the Puck Wedgies. Thank you, Heidi, for the hand hearts. Witchy Poo, thank you for the cozy cryptids. Grandma, thank you. And Deborah, thank you. And thank you, Booth, and welcome back. Also, welcome in, everybody. If you're new here, my name is Devin, and this is Porch Lore. And I tell spooky bedtime stories to help you relax your nervous system and fall asleep. I am here every night at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time till about 1 in the morning. Hi, Rachel. And if you guys could do me a big favor before I start the first story, could you hit that share arrow in the bottom right-hand corner? And there is a circle, a yellow circle with 2 arrows chasing each other that says repost. And that puts my live into your friends' FYPs, and it helps us grow this beautiful porch of ours. Quick swig, and I'll be right back with the Puck Wedgies. Welcome in, John Pell, or Joe Pelf. Welcome in. Everybody, welcome in our new porch pal. Hello. Hi, Priscilla. Hi, Trisha. Has anybody heard from Michelle in a few days? I'm a little worried about her. She hasn't been in, and I am a little worried. Has anybody heard from her? Submitted for the approval of the Porch Pal Society. This is the tale of the Pukwudgies. Most people outside of New England have never even heard of the Pukwudgies. And that's probably for the best. Because unlike the more marketable monsters, the Bigfoots, the Mothmen, the Pukwudgies were never treated in the old stories as something mysterious or majestic. They were treated as malicious, cruel, petty, the kind of thing that did not hunt because it was hungry or territorial, but because it enjoyed making human beings suffer. The legend comes primarily from Wampanoag folklore in Massachusetts and the surrounding northeastern tribes. And similar forest trickster entities appear across Algonquin traditions under different names and variations. Thank you, Leslie. Hi, Lorna. Depending on the telling, Pukwudgies were once friendly towards humans. Small, magical woodland beings with gray skin, oversized ears, glowing eyes, and the ability to appear and disappear at will. Then, according to the stories, something changed. Some say humans mistreated them. Some say they just became jealous of humans And some say they were never friendly to begin with. Whatever the reason, the legends all agree on one thing. Pukwudgies hate people. They lure travelers off paths. They imitate voices. They sabotage camps. They use poison arrows. And they shove people from cliffs. They've been known to appear at the edges of firelight with yellow eyes and mocking smiles. And unlike many folkloric creatures, the stories about them rarely end with escape. They usually end with someone vanishing. Now, Massachusetts is full of spooky stories and old folklore. Witch trials, sea serpents, Bridgewater Triangle monsters, and Pukwudgies. So I decided to take a trip to visit my friend Anthony for a long weekend in Massachusetts. I was looking forward to visiting Plymouth, seeing the old colonial sites, doing the tourist thing. But there was also another site that I was determined to see while I was there. The Freetown Fall River State Forest. A place with enough paranormal lore attached to it that people sometimes call it one of the most haunted forests in America. Disappearances, UFO sightings, rumors of cults, cryptid reports, and of course, Pukwudgies. Anthony laughed when I mentioned it, and he told me that if he was going to take me into those woods, I was not allowed to whistle. I was not allowed to follow any voices. Not to acknowledge anything moving in the brush. And under absolutely no circumstances was I allowed to leave any food behind. Apparently, according to his grandmother, leaving food in the woods was considered an offering. I thought it was charming. I love regional superstitions. The sort of folklore every place develops when enough people get lost in the forest over the centuries. The drive there through the forest was beautiful, in that deeply old New England way. The trees were taller and older than what I was used to, and the woods felt denser. It was late afternoon when we arrived, and the parking lot near the trailhead was nearly empty. The sun had hidden behind a thick layer of clouds, and was turning to a pale gray sky that makes everything feel flatter and quieter. Anthony had brought a backpack with snacks, water, adequate flashlights, and enough practical hiking gear to suggest that he actually took this very seriously. I brought a hoodie and a backpack filled with delusional confidence. The first hour was normal. Honestly, it was peaceful. The trail wound through pines and scrub oaks, over roots as thick as my wrist, and past glacial boulders draped in moss. Anthony pointed out places where the locals claimed strange things had happened. A pond where people supposedly saw lights under the water. A clearing where a hiker claimed something small chased him through the trees. A narrow ravine where a teenager allegedly disappeared in the 80s. And then we found a little structure. It stood 20 or 30 feet off the trail. Kind of a crude stick hut. 3 feet high, maybe. Built from branches leaned together into a cone shape. And decorated with stones, bones, feathers, and strips of cloth tied to the branches. My first thought was that local kids had made it. My second thought was that it was creepy enough to photograph. I bent down near the structure, snapped a few photos while Anthony made some joke about paying tribute to the tiny goblins. And then the woods went silent. No birds, no wind, no insects. Just silence so complete it made the inside of my ears ring. Anthony's face went pale and he grabbed my hand and said that we needed to get out of here now. So we started speed walking. And then we picked up the pace just a little faster. And then we were going fast enough that it wasn't really walking anymore. Okay, we were running at that point. And after maybe 3 minutes of hoofing it out of there, we heard high-pitched laughter. It was coming from somewhere behind us in the trees. I stopped, but Anthony did not. And he grabbed my arm and nearly dragged me out. He knew my curiosity would be the death of me. Then the laughter came again, this time closer. It sounded like something trying to imitate the laughter of a child. It was horrifying. Finally, after a while, we slowed down to catch our breath. The trail back seemed longer than before, and it felt like we were walking for ages. Then came the first pebble. It struck the back of my shoulder light, almost playful. I turned around and there was nothing. Then another pebble hit the dirt in front of us, and then another, and another, thrown from different directions. Something moved between the trees to our left, short, gray, and fast. I froze, and for half a second, I saw it clearly. Barely 3 feet tall. Skin the color of whetstone. Long arms, large head, wide mouth stretched into something like a grin. Its eyes reflecting gold in the dim woods. And then it darted behind a tree. Anthony looked at me calmly and said, "Run." We bolted through the forest. Branches whipped my face and roots caught at my shoes. And all around us, all I could hear was that laughter. Sometimes ahead of us, sometimes behind. Sometimes so close it sounded like it came from right beside my ear. At one point, something small and hard struck the back of my knee and nearly sent me. Another hit my shoulder blade. And then, something sharp sliced across the side of my neck. Not deep, but enough to burn. Enough that when I touched it, my fingers came away bloody. We burst into the parking lot at a full sprint. I had never been so relieved to see a car in my life. We threw ourselves into Anthony's car, locked the doors, and sat there gasping for air. Nothing emerged from the trees. No movement, no figures, no more laughter. Just the dark tree line, perfectly silent and still. I tried to laugh it off. Adrenaline does strange things. People see strange things and panic. Maybe we just spooked ourselves. Anthony just drove. Neither of us really talked. And neither of us noticed until halfway home that my neck had started swelling. By the time we reached the house, I was dizzy and nauseous. My skin burned, and the cut on my neck had turned an angry black around the edges. We ended up in urgent care, and the doctor said it looked like some kind of natural poison around the puncture wound. He cleaned it, gave me antibiotics, and sent me home. Pukwudgies might be small, but I'll never go back into that forest again. And if you ever find yourself in the forests of southern Massachusetts, and you come across a tiny hut made of sticks and bones just off the trail, do yourself a favor. Run. And that's the tale of the Pukwudgies featuring the one and only Anthony. Thank you for the hand hearts, Anthony. Thank you for the bouquet, Anthony. Thank you, Sherry, for the hand hearts. Welcome in, everybody. If you're new here, my name is Devin, and this is Porch Lore. And I tell spooky bedtime stories to help you relax your nervous system and fall asleep. And I am here every night at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time until about 1 in the morning. Hi, Drew. Thank you, Robin. That's so cute. Hi, Caro. Thanks for the populars. Carol, thanks for the coral. Michael, thank you for the cozy cryptids. Holly and Akaro, thank you for the beautiful coral. I love that one. That was spooky, right, Lorna? Yes, Diamante, thank you. I am feeling better tonight. I appreciate everybody who has asked. I am feeling better. Not 100%, but I am definitely feeling better. I know, isn't the coral so pretty? Okay, you guys, I will set up the next poll. And happy Friday. Grab a beanbag chair, grab a hammock. Sit back and relax. Watch the shooting stars in the sky, and welcome to the porch. And while I set up the next poll, if you guys could do me a big favor and share out this live, you can hit the repost button, which is the little yellow circle with the 2 arrows chasing each other. You can post it in your stories, and you can message it to your friends. And happy Friday. Thank you, Amanda, for the hand hearts. I'll be right back with the next poll for us to vote. And also, Laura, I love queso. That sounds so good. I would destroy some queso right now. I like, literally, it's one of my, like, chips and salsa or chips and queso is one of my, like, I, like, can't control myself. Like, I feel like I'll, like, not even be paying attention, and, like, the whole bag of chips, I'll be like, oh, shit. So, yum. Yum. Yes, thank you, Amanda. I'll be right back with the next poll. Did you, Anthony, of queso? God, I would eat a whole bowl too. I don't feel like I have self-control when it comes to like chips and dips. Like, and I'm not talking about potato chips. I'm talking about tortilla chips specifically. I can eat them plain. I'll like smash tortilla chips plain. But like, you know, the real tortilla chips, like the ones that you have to buy in like the deli section that are like actually like the closest we get to like Mexican style, those are my favorite. They're like air fluff. Oh my God. I'll eat a whole bag of those. Yeah, the homemade ones. Yep. Those chips. Yeah, me too, Justin. Those chips hate to see me coming. I literally, because it's not even as big as a normal bag, and it has a little string, a little drawstring, a little like wrappy thing, and I will like open it up, and then I look and I'm like, did I just eat like almost that whole bag? How is that possible? But like, I can't help it. Yeah. Robin, probably, you know what? It's probably the reason anyone is. Anthony, that is like swoon-worthy sentence right there. He said that bag and that pint of queso disappeared 2 hours ago. What a man. Yeah, Mexican food. Oh my God. That's the best way, Sherry. She said Mexican food makes me feel like I have one life to live. Yeah, Mexican food is so good. Italian food and Mexican food. But I will say that I am more unhinged when it comes to eating Mexican food. Italian food fills you up fast. So like I feel like there's only so much I can take of Italian food before I'm like, but Mexican food is like, I don't know what the secret is, but it's like doesn't fill me up right away. So I'm like smashing it. And it's like, so good. So yes, I love Mexican food. Chinese is okay. I like Chinese, but I'm a Mexican food girly and an Italian food. Yeah, definitely my tummy's would not be okay with queso right now, but it sounds so good. Anyway, yum. Queso. Yum. Queso, the way to a girl's heart. Oh, me too, Michael. Now I'm like, damn, I want queso. Okay, I'll be right back with the poll. Happy Friday. I hope you're eating some queso somewhere. And Sherry, the thing I love about it the most is that it all tastes good together. Like, you could get anything and it tastes good together in Mexican food. Like, there's never a miss. All of it is good together. It's just delicious. It's like, don't even get me started on like the peach and mango salsas on top of like street taco style with like pulled pork tacos. Holy shit. I can't even. Like, oh my God, yum. Mary. She said you ain't never like, no man, it's good, right? Like, yum. Yes, peach salsa is so good. Oh my God. The sweet salsas are like the best combination. Hi, Shakan. Yeah, I'm sorry I'm making her be hungry. I'm hungry too. I'm starving. So I'm so sorry. You don't like tortilla chips? I like how you called them tortilla chips. You don't like them? Wow. Yeah, same, lovely. Give me some of that sweet and spicy. I'll make sweet and savory all day. Okay, anyway, be right back. You make mango salsa? Oh man. God, it's good. Mango salsa is so good. Yum. Peach and mango are so delicious. Now I'm like, I wish I could like DoorDash Mexican food, but I'm not going to do that. Okay, you guys, the next poll is ready. We have, well, thank you, 1985. And yes, Misty, me too. We have the Fresno Nightcrawlers versus the Ozarks Howler, which is the new story of the week, versus the Deer Woman of Oklahoma, versus the Kentucky Goblins, versus the Midnight Movie. And you can vote in the top left-hand corner. There is a blue box. And you can vote up to 50 times, and you can vote for more than one story. And we have the Fresno Nightcrawlers, aka the Creepy Pajama Pants, or the Creepy Stockings. We have the Ozarks Howler. We have the Deer Woman of Oklahoma. We have the Kentucky Goblins. And we have the Midnight Movie, which is an Are You Afraid of the Dark reworking. Who's it gonna be? Hi, Country Raven. How you doing, cutie? I love you too, girl. I'm from Georgia, just keep that in mind. Ooh, yeah, which ones? I need to see pictures, please. I've been missing you too, lovely. How you doing, cutie butt? Uh-oh, Oreo. That's such a cute name. Thanks, 1985. Also, if you guys are not voting, feel free to hit the share arrow and share out this live. Also, thank you for the tappers. And thank you to anybody who is using keywords in the chat throughout the night. That really does help a lot. I've noticed not very many people have been doing that lately. If you just feel like typing words like, are you afraid of the dark? Goosebumps, supernatural, paranormal, goat man, mothman, Bigfoot, Sasquatch, storyteller, ASMR, bedtime stories, anything like that. It helps so much. And let's see who won. Oh, it was so close. The Fresno Nightcrawlers almost won. But the winner is the Midnight Movie. Thank you, Brittany. The winner is the Midnight Movie. This is an Are You Afraid of the Dark reworking. So grab a beanbag chair, grab a hammock, sit back and relax. And if you are new here, welcome in. My name is Devin. And this is Porch Lore. And I tell spooky bedtime stories to help you relax your nervous system and fall asleep. And no, it didn't tie. Fresno Nightcrawlers had 218 and Midnight Movie had 221. So it was very close to a tie. I told you that Fresno was the winner? That's weird. Yeah, because on my end it says Midnight Movie has 221 and Fresno has 218. So it must have been right at the end. All right, guys, I will be right back. With the tale of the Midnight Movie. Thank you, lovely. Love you. Submitted for the approval of the Porch Pal Society, this is the tale of the Midnight Movie. Hi, Pittsburgh Penny. Tonight we've got a spine-chilling tale about a forgotten theater, an ancient film, and a mysterious screening that did more than just entertain. In a world of digital streaming and blockbuster cinemas, the small independent movie houses are slowly dying off. Relics of a forgotten time. But what if one of those dying theaters found a way to bring people back? Not with a new release, but with a special showing of a classic film. The story you're about to hear takes place in one such theater, where the flickering images on the screen became more than just a movie. They became a portal to something terrifying. So grab your popcorn, settle in, and enjoy the tale of the Midnight Movie. It all started with the Riverview Theater. Once a local gem, it had been around since the 1930s. But by the time our story begins, it was on the verge of collapse. The popcorn machine was broken more often than not, and the seats were worn, and the crowd had dwindled down to a few loyal patrons clinging to nostalgia. Charlie, the theater manager, was desperate to save it. He had tried everything. Reruns of cult classics, indie films, even turning the place into a trivia night venue. But nothing worked. The bills piled up and the Riverview was on the brink of shutting its doors for good. And then one night, as Charlie was sifting through a box of old film reels in the basement, he found something strange. It was a reel that he had never seen before, marked only with a handwritten label. Nosferatu Director's Cut. The original 1922 vampire film Nosferatu was iconic, but this version? Charlie had never heard of a director's cut. Still, something about it intrigued him. What if this was the answer? Thank you, Witchy Poo. Thank you, Brittany. A rare unseen version of a vampire classic could be just the thing to bring in a crowd. A midnight showing, Halloween week. Perfect. Charlie jumped into action. He slapped together posters, reached out to local horror enthusiasts, and promoted the event on social media. The taglines were bold. Come see the lost director's cut of Nosferatu and experience what was never meant to be seen. Slowly, the buzz started building. And by the night of the showing, something incredible happened. The theater was packed. People came from all over, drawn by the promise of a rare cinematic experience. Horror fans, curious locals, and even film students crowded into the small lobby, chattering excitedly as the old movie posters hanging on the walls looked down on them. And then, just before midnight, the lights dimmed and the crowd funneled into the screening room. The projector came to life, and the eerie strains of Nosferatu's haunting score filled the theater. Charlie watched from the back, feeling an odd mix of excitement and unease. Something about the film reel had unsettled him, but he couldn't really place why. As the film began, the audience sat mesmerized by the iconic silent images. The flickering frames of Count Orlok creeping through the shadows, the eerie, exaggerated movements, the stark contrast between light and dark. It was exactly what they had come for. But something was off. At first it was subtle, quick flashes in the film. Strange cuts that hadn't been in the original. Charlie watched from the back of the room. He noticed it immediately. A figure would appear in a scene that shouldn't have been there, standing just in the background. The figure was gaunt, dressed in a black robe, its face obscured by shadows. No one in the audience seemed to notice these flashes but Charlie. And as the movie went on, the flashes became longer and more frequent. The figure started to appear in every scene, always just at the edge of the frame, lurking. And then Halfway through the film, it happened. The screen went black for a moment, just a flicker, and then the image returned. But it was different. It wasn't a scene from the 1922 classic. The screen now showed the theater itself in real time. The image was great. The camera angle moved slowly, sweeping across the rows as if someone or something was walking through the theater watching them. Charlie's heart raced. This wasn't part of the film. He glanced at the projector booth, but the operator inside seemed as puzzled as everyone else. The camera on screen panned to the back row where Charlie was standing, and his stomach dropped as he saw himself on the screen, staring directly in the lens. And then the figure appeared. It wasn't on the film anymore. It was in the theater, moving through the aisles, unseen by the audience's eye, but fully visible on the screen. The gaunt figure with its black robe and shadowed face stalked closer and closer, heading toward the projector booth. People in the audience began to panic. Some laughed nervously, thinking it was all part of the show. But others felt the rising tension, the oppressive weight of something terribly wrong. Charlie tried to move, to warn them, but it's like his legs were frozen in place. He couldn't tear his eyes away from that screen. Suddenly, the film flickered again, and the figure was standing in the projector booth, right behind the operator. His hands slowly reaching out. The operator didn't see it. He was still adjusting the reels, oblivious to the terror creeping up behind him. The audience gasped collectively as the figure's hands touched the back of the operator's neck. And in that instant, the screen went black, and the lights in the theater flickered off. Panic erupted. People screamed for the exits, but the doors wouldn't budge. The projector flickered back to life, but this time, there was no film. Instead, the gaunt figure appeared on the screen, staring out into the theater, its face still hidden in shadow. And then, one by one, the theater goers began to vanish. They would just blink out of existence, swallowed by the darkness that seemed to seep through the screen. Charlie was paralyzed, unable to move, unable to speak. He watched in horror as the audience disappeared, leaving the theater empty and silent. When the authorities arrived the next morning, they found the theater completely abandoned. The projector was still running, playing the final frames of Nosferatu on an endless loop. Of the dozens of people who entered that night, not a single one remained. Charlie was never found. The last known footage of him came from the security camera in the theater lobby, showing him walking into the screening room moments before the midnight showing. And after that, nothing. The Riverview Theater closed down shortly after, condemned and left to rot. Locals say that on cold, quiet nights, you can still hear the faint hums of the projector. And if you look through the broken windows, you might see shadows moving on the screen, like flickering remnants of the lost souls from that night. Some say the reel that Charlie found was cursed, that it was never meant to be seen by human eyes. Others claim that it was a portal, a gateway to something far more sinister than an old vampire film. But one thing is certain. Those who attended Riverview Theater that night are gone. And the film, well, it hasn't been seen since. So the next time you sit down to watch a late night movie, especially one on an old reel, remember, some films take more than your attention. They take your soul. And that's the tale of the Midnight Movie. Welcome in, everybody. My name is Devin, and this is Porch Lore. And I tell spooky bedtime stories to help you relax your nervous system and fall asleep. And I am here every single night at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time until about 1 in the morning. I do write and record all these stories myself, and you can listen to them anytime you would like on my YT channel, as well as all of the podcast streaming sites. Thank you, Maureen. Thank you, Yaya. Thank you, Lorraine. Thanks, guys. And if you are enjoying yourself, don't forget to follow me here on TikTok as well. Hi, Lisa. And I do premiere a new one of these stories every Monday, live at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on my YT channel. Witchy Poo, oh my god, that is so cute. I have never seen that before. Thank you so much. Oh my god, that was so cute. Thank you so much, Witchy Poo. That was just adorable. Thank you. That was so cute. All right, you guys, happy Friday. I hope everybody's had a good week, or at least decent. Oh, that's a good question, Ramen. What is everybody's go-to movie candy? That's a good question. You know what I really used to like when I was a kid? What were those things that you could only get at the movies? Like snow caps or something? Is that what they're called? But I literally haven't had those since I was a child. But I used to love those. Because I feel like you could only get them at the movies. They were like old-fashioned candy or something. My go-to snack at the movies is popcorn and a slushie. And I'm like a sweets girly, but I love popcorn and a slush. So good. Thank you, Barbie. Thank you, Laura. But I do love the Junior Mints. Those are so good. Yeah, Reese's Pieces are actually my favorite. Devin's my go-to snack. Funny, Skrilla, I like that. Reese's Pieces are actually my favorite over Reese's Cups, but like Reese's Pieces are like so hard to find for no reason at all. And they're so expensive for no reason at all compared to all the other candy. It's very weird. It's like they're only like, you will eat these in a sundae and only in a sundae. It's very weird. Really, CJ? That's strange. I love both, but I think Reese's Cups have a little bit too much peanut butter to chocolate ratio compared to Pieces that are perfect. Oh, I love that. I love that. Krista said, I got a Snickers bar going on right now. Get it, girl. Sorry, yeah, I love popcorn too. Yeah, it's so good. See, and I didn't even bring up this food topic. Ramen did. It's your fault. Reese's Pieces makes you think of E.T. I haven't seen that movie in so long. I guess I'd have to watch it again. Okay, guys, I'll be right back with the next poll for us to vote for the next story. And feel free to grab a beanbag chair, grab a hammock, sit back and relax, watch the shooting stars in the sky, and welcome to the porch. And while I'm setting up the next poll, if you guys could do me a big favor, if you guys could hit that share arrow in the bottom right-hand corner, there's a little yellow circle with two arrows chasing each other that says repost. And that puts my live into your friends' FYPs and it helps us grow this beautiful porch. Hi, Sarah. Also, sharing to your stories and sharing it to your friends in messages helps immensely. And so does tapping. So thank you for tapping. It's free and it's really appreciated. And thank you to everybody who writes keywords in the chat throughout the night to help AI send us out to the right people. So things like, are you afraid of the dark? Supernatural, paranormal, Bigfoot, Mothman, Goatman, Sasquatch, aliens, storyteller, ASMR, folklore, anything like that helps so much. I'll be right back with the next poll. Okay, you guys, the next poll is ready. We have the Fresno Nightcrawlers, the Whistler's Hollow, the Kentucky Goblins, Professor Hyde, and the Goat Man. You can vote in the top left-hand corner. There's a blue box. We have the Fresno Nightcrawler Pajama Pant Creeps. We have the Whistler's Hollow. We have the Kentucky Goblins. We have Professor Hyde. And we have the Goat Man. Who's it gonna be? All right, you guys, those creepy pajama pants are the winner. The winner is the Fresno Nightcrawlers. The legs won. Yay. Joy, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the porch. Hi, Jade. All right, so the Fresno Nightcrawlers is the winner of the poll. I will be right back with that story. Guess Justin, they do buy their pants at porchlore.store, where you too can find cute cryptid clothes and fun porch lore stuff. Thank you, Joy. So feel free to check out the merch site. We got cute cryptid stuff, funny inside joke wear, and just all the fun things. All the fun Porch Pal things, gear, home stuff, decor, pet bowls, literally everything you could think of, swimsuits. We've got it all. Quick swig and I'll be right back with the Fresno Nightcrawlers. 100% the strangest cryptid, Michael. I was just talking about that the other day. Like, I'm not even scared of cryptids, and this one weirds me out. Congratulations, Laura. That's so cute and exciting. There she is. There's Suzanne, my co-adventurer in the story. Hello. Thank you, Holly. Thank you, Heidi. Thank you, Ramen. Submitted for the approval of the Porch Palace Society. This is the tale of the Fresno Nightcrawlers. Thank you, Suzanne. Thank you, Ramen. Thanks for the cute gifts, you guys. Are you talking about my league, Jen? I've been B1 for a long time. No, I haven't gone up. My gallery never gets lit up, so I just stay here, which is totally fine. But no, I've been in B1 for a long time. Oh my God, that's so cute. Thank you, Holly. You know I love that bighorn. I think that might be my new favorite gift because he spins around in his little nose and his kiss. God, he's so cute. Thank you. You're just wondering, Jen? Yeah. No, I've stayed here. I've been in this league for a while. I didn't know if that's the league you were talking about. But nope, haven't gone up yet, but I'm happy where I'm at. There are some cryptids that look like they were designed by ancient fear. Creatures with claws, teeth, eyes. Things that make instinctive sense to be afraid of. And then there are the Fresno Nightcrawlers. Thank you, Yaya. 2 white legs. That is the only way anyone ever really describes them. Just legs. No visible arms, no visible face, no clear torso, just no obvious anatomy that should logically allow them to exist. They look less like living creatures and more like someone draped white sheets over stilts and taught them how to walk. Thank you, KLJB. Thank you, Sassy Grandma. And that somehow makes them worse. Because monsters are easier to process when they resemble something alive. The Fresno Nightcrawlers do not. They move wrong. They stand wrong. They occupy space wrong. And maybe that is why their footage has unsettled people for decades. The modern legend began in Fresno, California in the early 2000s. When a homeowner's security camera captured two pale, leg-like figures gliding across his front lawn in the middle of the night. The one appeared taller than the other, moving with a slow, deliberate gait, almost like a parent leading a child. The footage spread online and it was initially dismissed as a hoax, but nobody could ever conclusively explain how it had been faked, especially not with the technology available to the average homeowner at the time. And then stranger details emerged. Indigenous Yokuts folklore from Central California allegedly included stories of pale, wandering beings associated with the night and with the balance between nature and man. While documentation is sparse, and some dispute whether the Fresno creatures truly connect to that folklore, the association stuck. And people began claiming the beings were ancient watchers. And more footage appeared. Not much, never enough to prove anything, just enough to make the whole thing harder to dismiss. A blurry security camera in Yosemite, a ranch camera somewhere outside Fresno, showing strange silhouettes. Always the same impossible movement, always the same gliding gait, always gone before anyone got close. Most people treat the Fresno night crawlers like a joke cryptid. Cute, goofy, harmless. But I think that's because people have never seen one in person. And I wish I could go back to the version of myself that thought they were funny. Because Suzanne and I used to laugh every time it was brought up. My friend Suzanne lives outside Fresno, in one of those strange in-between parts of California where suburbia frays into orchards and scrubland and old irrigation roads. Not quite city, but not quite country either. The sort of place where neighborhoods end abruptly and miles of dark open land begin. She had moved there for work a year before I visited. Her house sat at the edge of a newer development, the last row before the land gave way to empty fields and a dry creek bed beyond them. The first night there, she jokingly pointed through her kitchen window toward the darkness beyond her backyard fence and told me that was prime nightcrawler territory. We laughed because that's what you do when discussing giant walking pants in the dark. She hesitated and then she admitted that several people in the neighborhood had posted odd security clips in the local FB group, but nothing definitive. Just strange movements in the distance, weird pale shapes near the fences, things caught for one frame and then gone. Again, she treated it like neighborhood folklore. But she admitted people had stopped letting their dogs out alone at night. That first evening, we sat on her back patio with drinks while the sun disappeared over the fields. The land beyond her fence looked deceptively flat in the daylight, but at night, it became an ocean, black and endless. No streetlights, no structures, Just the occasional silhouette of distant trees and the soft metallic creaking of irrigation equipment somewhere far off in the dark. Suzanne told me the neighborhood had a reoccurring problem with pets disappearing. Coyotes, supposedly. But nobody ever found remains. Still, nothing happened that night or the next. The first few days of the trip were normal, touristy, fun, harmless. And then, on the fourth night, Suzanne woke me just after 2 in the morning. Her face was pale, and she held her phone toward me without speaking. Her backyard motion alert had been triggered. The camera feed showed her patio empty, fence still, nothing moving. But then, at the far back corner of the yard, near the fence gate, something pale stepped into the frame. At first, my brain rejected what I was seeing. It looked like 2 white columns moving. Then the shape advanced further into the infrared glow, and I realized it was exactly what everyone described. A creature, perhaps 4 feet tall, long white legs, a small tapering upper body like folded cloth or draped flesh, no visible arms, and it walked with that horrible smooth gait that I had seen in a video 100 times. Like gravity affected it differently. It crossed the yard in total silence, and then it slipped out of frame. Neither of us moved. Neither of us spoke. And then the camera alert ended. We replayed it 3 times, and each viewing made it worse. Because no matter how long we stared, we couldn't figure out how it could physically move that way. I asked if we should call the police, and even saying it sounded absurd. Like, what would we tell them? Hello, 911? Yeah, there's a pair of haunted pajama pants walking through my backyard. Instead, we just stayed awake until dawn, with every light in the house on. The next morning, we checked the yard, and there was nothing. No footprints, no disturbed dirt, no damage. But near the fence gate, we found one thing. A line of dead flowers. Not wilted, but dead. Every blossom along one narrow strip of Suzanne's flower bed had turned black and collapsed, as if it had flash frozen overnight. She swore they had been healthy the day before. Then we made the worst decision people in horror movies always make. We went looking for it. Suzanne had a friend whose uncle owned farmland several miles outside of town, near where one of the earliest Fresno Nightcrawler sightings supposedly occurred. I told him about my Porch Lore podcast, and he said that we could come walk the land and check things out. We arrived just before dusk. The land stretched flat and golden for miles. Dry grass, abandoned irrigation ditches, twisted valley oaks, telephone poles vanishing toward the horizon. The kind of place where distance plays tricks on your eyes. We brought flashlights, cameras, snacks, and the brittle confidence of people who still partially believed none of this was real. By midnight, we had seen nothing. We sat near an old pump shed laughing nervously at ourselves. We are grown women. This is ridiculous. But then, every cricket stopped instantly. No gradual fade, no natural hush. 1 second there was noise, and the next, silence so complete it felt vacuum sealed. Movement caught my eye near the far fence line. At first I thought someone had placed a white trash bag in the field. But then it moved. One shape, and then another, and then a third. 3 pale figures emerged from the grass. Different sizes, walking slowly toward us, each gliding with that same impossible gait. The tallest had to be nearly 6 feet, the smallest perhaps 3. They looked like a family. That was my first thought. They weren't random creatures. They appeared to be a family. The figures approached without hurry. No sound, no signs of awareness, except that every step carried them directly toward us. Thank you, Deborah. We backed toward the pump shed. The tallest one stopped maybe 30 feet away, and the others spread out, forming a half circle. My chest tightened so hard, I thought I might black out. And then, the tallest one bent, not crouched, bent, and its entire upper body unfolded like cloth parting in the wind. And underneath, there was a face, pale and stretched, featureless except for a mouth too wide and eyes that looked sewn shut beneath translucent skin. Thank you, Tracy. Suzanne screamed, and that broke whatever paralysis held me. And we ran. I don't remember half of that sprint. The truck was nearly a quarter mile away, and we heard nothing behind us. No footsteps, no pursuit. We assumed they were just gliding silently behind us, and I didn't dare look back. But instead, they simply let us run. We got to the truck out of breath, our hearts racing. Suzanne fumbled the keys twice before getting us inside. And then we peeled out of there, throwing gravel. Neither of us spoke the entire drive home. After some more research, I read that several indigenous stories described pale wandering spirits who appeared when the land itself had been violated. Guardians of sacred places twisted by human greed. Not hunters, not predators, judges. We built houses where they used to walk. Suzanne's neighborhood, that development, built over old protected land that had been bulldozed during expansion, despite protests from preservation groups. Her house stood at the edge of it, right where the field began. Some things do not haunt us because they are evil. Some things haunt us because we forget we are the ones trespassing. Some things haunt us because, to them, we are the evil. So, if you ever find yourself driving outside Fresno late at night, past the orchards, past the neighborhoods, where the dark opens wide and endless, and you see something white crossing the field in your headlights, don't follow it. Just keep driving. And thank you, Deborah, for the cute moonwalking shoes. And thank you, Witchy Boo. Welcome in, everybody. My name is Devin, and this is Porch. And I tell spooky bedtime stories to help you relax your nervous system and fall asleep. And I'm here every night at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time until about 1 in the morning. I do write and record all these stories myself, so if you like them, you can listen to them on my YT channel or any of the podcast streaming sites. Thank you, KLJB. And if you guys could do me a big favor while I set up the next poll, if you guys could hit that share arrow in the bottom right-hand corner, there's a little yellow circle with 2 arrows chasing each other that says repost. And that puts my live into your friends' FYPs, and it helps us grow this beautiful porch of ours. Also, if you're enjoying yourself and you haven't yet, feel free to give me a follow. And thank you to everybody writing relevant keywords in the chat throughout the night. It does help the AI categorize us into who to send us out to, and it helps us get more porch pals. So anything like, are you afraid of the dark? Goosebumps, Mothman, Goatman, Bigfoot, Sasquatch, storytelling, paranormal, supernatural, ASMR, anything like that helps so much more than you realize. So thank you guys. Plus, it's great to see the funniest sentences that you guys make up with those keywords. It's wonderful. So I will be right back with the next poll for us to vote. Happy Friday, guys. Grab a beanbag chair, grab a hammock, sit back and relax, and welcome to the porch. As I always say, there is always room for one more on the porch. Hi, Lady Rose. How was bumper cars? I'm so jealous. Bumper cars are so fun. Hi, Heart. How are you? And thank you for the hand heart, Sherry. Hi, cutie. And thank you for the cozy cryptids. Deborah, thanks for the cool. And Sherry, thanks for the populars. And the coral. Thank you so much. Okay, you guys, the next poll is ready. Thank you, user. Welcome in. I'm glad to have you here. Welcome to the porch. All right, so the next poll is ready. Aw, thanks, Holly. You're so sweet. All right, and if you're on TT, you can vote in the blue box that will pop up in a second. Laura, thanks for the wakey mallow. So cute. Okay, so we have the Boo Hag versus the Last Summer Carnival versus the Overnight Delivery versus the Honey Island Swamp Monster versus the Drowned Belle. And if you're on TT, you can vote in the blue box in the top left-hand corner. We have the Boo Hag featuring Yaya, the Last Summer Carnival, the Overnight Delivery, the Honey Island Swamp Monster, and the Drowned Belle. Hi, Seabass. Who's it gonna be, guys? Hi, Cable. All right, and the winner is the Drowned Belle. Me neither, lovely. Me neither. All right, you guys. I will be right back with the tale of the Drowned Belle. So grab a beanbag chair, grab a hammock, sit back and relax, watch the shooting stars, and welcome to the porch. Happy Friday, guys. Feel free to share it out. Thanks. And thank you to those of you who are tapping. Thank you. Thank you, Lacey, so much. Submitted for the approval of the Porch Pal Society. This is the tale of the drowned bell. I had always been fascinated by places erased from maps. Whole towns that vanished underwater. Their names barely clinging to memory. And Stillwater, Georgia was one of them. Most people don't even know the town existed before the dam went up in 1947. It had been a small mountain community, a church, a general store, a schoolhouse, and a scattering of white clapboard houses perched above a slow-moving river. When the government bought up the land to create the Stillwater Reservoir, they gave the residents 3 weeks to move out before the valley flooded. Some left quickly, and others refused to go until the water crept up to their doorsteps. And a few never made it out at all. I had been researching southern displacement for a project when I first heard about Stillwater. A farmer I interviewed in Hall County told me about it in a way that made my skin crawl. How divers still claim to see the town beneath the surface perfectly preserved in the silt. How fishermen heard a church bell toll underwater before storms. He said if you were on the reservoir at the wrong hour, you might see lights moving where the streets used to be. Lanterns drifting beneath the waves, as if the old residents still carried them through the dark. It sounded like the kind of story locals tell to keep kids away from dangerous waters, but something about it stuck with me. So, when my department offered to fund field research on the cultural after effects of dam projects, I knew exactly where I wanted to go. It was early autumn when I arrived at Stillwater Lake, and the reservoir stretched out like glass beneath the hills, reflecting the smoky blue of the sky. Pine trees lined the shore, their roots curling down into the red clay. You could almost forget there was anything beneath that calm surface. Almost. The town of Stillwater lay about 60 feet below where I stood, or what remained of it. Old maps showed the church at the center of town, its bell tower the tallest structure. When the water was low, locals said the tip of the steeple still broke the surface, though no one had been allowed to boat out that far in decades. I had rented a small cabin near the southern bank to use as my base of operations. The ranger station had given me permission to explore the surrounding area, but not to go into the restricted zone near the old town site. There had been drownings, divers who never resurfaced, their equipment later found on the lake floor. It didn't take long for the stories to start. An elderly woman named Nora, who ran the tiny grocery down the road, told me the bell still rang some nights. She had grown up in the area, and her grandmother had been a child when the flood came. She said people used to gather on the ridge to watch the water rise, and that one man, the preacher, refused to leave the church. He believed the valley's drowning was a punishment. He stayed in the bell tower until the last moment. When the water reached his knees, the bell began to toll slow and steady, echoing across the hills. It stopped only when the roof disappeared beneath the flood. Now, every time the bell rang under the water, the old folks whispered that another storm was coming. On the 5th night, the sky broke open. It began with a low growl that rolled through the mountains, followed by a curtain of rain so heavy it blurred the world into streaks of gray. Lightning flashed over the lake, illuminating the trees in harsh white light. The wind off the water howled like something alive. The power went out just after sunset. I sat by the window with a lantern, watching the waves slam against the shore. My truck was parked half a mile up the road, and for a moment, I considered trying to reach it. But the wind made the cabin groan, and I knew it wasn't a good idea. Then I saw something out on the lake. At first, I thought it was lightning reflecting on the water, but it wasn't. It was steady, pulsing faintly like a lantern's flame. One light became 2, and then 3, moving in a slow, deliberate pattern. The water level had dropped over the past week because of maintenance on the dam, exposing a stretch of cracked red mud along the shoreline. Beyond it, in the storm's chaos, I thought I saw something rising out of the lake. The jagged silhouette of a steeple, slick with rain. It was the bell tower. I don't remember deciding to go. I just grabbed my raincoat, my flashlight, and a field recorder, and I stepped into the storm. The wind tore at me as I made my way down the slope. Mud sucked at my boots and the rain stung my face. Every few seconds, lightning split the sky, and each time, I saw it more clearly. The church was there. The steeple jutted out of the lake like a broken tooth, its wood blackened and warped. The rest of the structure seemed half buried in the shallows, the water lapping just below the roofline. The lights I'd seen were clustered near the church steps, pale orbs gliding just above the surface, flickering faintly. I thought at first they must be reflections from boats or houses across the shore, but there were none that close. These were moving on their own. And then beneath the roar of wind and rain, I heard it. The bell. The sound was deep and resonant, too heavy for the storm to drown out, and it rolled through the valley, each toll echoing off the cliffs. The water around the steeple rippled with every strike, and I remember thinking that the bell couldn't possibly be ringing. It was submerged, rusted, sealed with decades of silt. Yet there it was, tolling beneath the storm. I edged closer, my boots sinking into the muck. Lightning flashed again, and for an instant, I saw movement near the steeple's base. Figures, half in and half out of the water. Their shapes were distorted by rain, their faces lost to shadow, but I could see the shimmer of wet fabric. Sunday clothes torn and clinging. They moved with an unnatural grace, their heads tilted toward the sound of the bell. And then they turned toward me. My inadequate flashlight flickered, and the nearest one began to wade forward. I stumbled back and I slipped in the mud. The inadequate flashlight cutting across their faces, and I saw water where their eyes should have been. They came on in silence, feet never fully breaking the surface. Their reflections warped and lagging, a heartbeat behind their movements. Panic took over, and I ran. The slope was steeper than I remembered, and the mud was giving way beneath me. I scrambled toward the ridge, heart hammering. Every breath, a gasp of rain and fear. And the bell kept ringing behind me. Halfway up the ridge, I slipped again and I landed hard. And when I looked back, the lights had followed me onto land. The shapes behind them moved in jerky motions now, as if the storm itself was pushing them forward. I saw the church fully then, in a flash of lightning, its roof collapsing inward, the steeple leaning like a dying tree. The water churned violently around it, as if something massive were stirring below. And from that rolling darkness something rose, a shape too large and too wrong to be a man. It pulled itself up onto the steeple, black water pouring from its limbs. And then it lifted its head, and I saw the hollow where its face should have been. And then the bell tolled again, and the thing let go of the steeple, and it vanished beneath the water, dragging the lights down with it. Thank you so much, Jen. The storm broke soon after. I made it back to the cabin before dawn, soaked and shaking. The power had returned, but my reflection in the window looked like a drenched rat. I could still hear the bell echoing faintly in my ears. When I tried to play back the field recorder, all I heard was static. And beneath it, faint rhythmic tones, like something trying to imitate the sound of a bell underwater. I left Stillwater that afternoon, but I couldn't stop thinking about what I had seen. A few weeks later, I contacted a local historian to ask if anyone else had ever reported seeing the church surface. He told me the water level hadn't dropped enough in decades, not since the 1970s. The steeple, he said, was long gone. When I mentioned the bell, there was a pause on the line. He said the church's bell had never been recovered. Before the flood, divers had tried to remove it, but the chain holding it to the tower jammed, and the preacher refused to leave. And when the water finally reached the church roof, they said he was still ringing it until it pulled him under. No one ever found his body. Sometimes fishermen still hear the bell tolling before the storms. They say it's the preacher warning the living. Others believe he's calling the drowned to rise again. And that's the tale of the drowned bell. Welcome in, everybody. If you're new here, my name is Devin, and this is Porch Lore, and I tell spooky bedtime stories to help you relax your nervous system and fall asleep. And I am here every night at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time until about 1 in the morning. I'm going to set up the next poll. If you guys could do me a big favor and hit that share arrow in the bottom right-hand corner. There's a little yellow circle with 2 arrows chasing each other that says repost. And that puts my live into your friends' FYPs, and it helps us grow this beautiful porch. Hi, Lolita. Also, thank you to everybody for the beautiful gifts. They are much appreciated. Thank you for the taps. Thank you for the shares and your stories, the reposts. And thank you for the comments. I will be right back with the next poll. Happy Friday. Good night, Joe. Thank you so much, Jen, for all the hand hearts. You're so sweet. Thank you. You're so kind. Thank you so much. Thank you, Jen. You just made my night. Hi, Nisi. Hi, Katrina. Hi, Jess. Okay. Okay, good night, Wolf King. Sweet dreams. See you tomorrow. Okay, you guys, I have the next poll ready. Hi, they. We have the Natchez Trace Spirits, the Baker Hotel, the Overnight Delivery, the Rain Crow Shelter, and the Sasquatch Stalker. You can vote in the top left-hand corner. There's a blue box. We have the Natchez Trace Spirits featuring Leslie, the Baker Hotel, the Overnight Delivery, the Rain Crow Shelter, and the Sasquatch Stalker. Who's it gonna be? Oh my god, thank you, Gina. That's so cute. Hi, Space Elevator. Welcome back. Happy Friday, Space Elevator. All right, and the Baker Hotel is the winner. I'll be right back with that story. Happy Friday. Welcome to the porch. Right, Lily? Sure did. Sure did. The Baker Hotel told all the other stories to F off. But I will say, like Lovely said, I wish that's how it works, Lovely. Like a good night, Lorna. Sweet dreams. Love you. See you tomorrow. Just like, hi, Golden Healer. Hello. Welcome back. Like Lovely said, if you guys want to hear new stories, you guys have to vote for them. Because you guys always vote for the same stories. And nobody ever votes for the ones that nobody has heard. So, if you guys want to hear one of the other 100 over 100 stories I have. You gotta vote for them when I put them in the polls. Hi, Joanne. Welcome in. All right, you guys, happy Friday. Grab a beanbag chair, grab a hammock, sit back and relax. Watch the shooting stars, and I will be right back with the tale of the Baker Hotel. Sherry, I know you do. You're right, Archangelo, because people voted for him, and it is so nice to hear the ones that we don't hear much. I try to sneak them into every single poll, and I can almost, at this point, I can almost predict the ones that are going to win in every poll. Hi, Viola. And so it was really a nice surprise that one day when all of the ones that aren't the common ones to win won. That was awesome. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Love it. Okay, I'll be right back with the Baker Hotel. Lolita, I'm jealous of your pizza. Yum. Submitted for the approval of the Porch Pal Society. This is the tale of the Baker Hotel. Hi, Stephen. Thank you, Space Elevator. Thank you, Deborah. Thank you guys so much. Love you guys. An XTR, I'm so sorry to hear about Winston. Hi, user 182, welcome in. Sherry with the Witch Kitties, my favorite. I'm so sorry to hear about Winston. Sending you all the love. So sorry. Thank you, Viola. I want to tell you about the night I almost didn't make it out of the Baker Hotel in Mineral Wells, Texas. You've probably heard of it, this massive decaying structure looming over the town. Once a grand luxury resort in the early 1900s. Now, one of the most haunted places in the state of Texas. It's been the site of countless ghost stories. But what happened to me that night, I can't explain. Now, I've always been the kind of person who loves a good ghost story, but I always respect the places that hold those stories. I'm not one of those people who waltzes into an abandoned building trying to provoke spirits for a cheap thrill. So when I decided to visit the Baker Hotel, it wasn't to chase shadows. It was because I had been doing some research for a podcast episode I was planning about haunted Texas landmarks. My plan was simple. Get some photos, maybe pick up some EVP recordings if I was lucky, and most importantly, avoid getting arrested for trespassing. The Baker Hotel was built in the 1920s, a towering monument to luxury, offering mineral water treatments that supposedly had healing properties. People came from all over the country to bathe in the pools, drink the water, and bask in the hotel's elegance. But behind its glamorous past lurked a darker history. The hotel was said to be cursed from the beginning. People died in the pools. Guests jumped to their deaths from the balconies. And then there was the mistress of the hotel owner. Her story haunted me the most. They say she was a beautiful woman who lived in the hotel, but when the affair soured, she threw herself from the top floor. Her perfume supposedly still lingers in the air where she fell. She was one of those spirits I was hoping to encounter. I made my way inside just after midnight. I had done my homework. I figured out where security patrolled, and I knew which entrance was least likely to get me caught. I am still an investigative journalist at heart. The place smelled of old wood and mildew, and the silence was almost suffocating. My footsteps echoed as I moved carefully through the main lobby, past the grand staircase. I am a lover of not only history, but also the beautiful craftsmanship and architecture of the past. So the decay of this once grand building was honestly heartbreaking for me. I hate seeing structures like this that have been neglected and are now falling apart. Peeling wallpaper, shattered chandeliers, the skeletons of chairs and tables that once held high society gatherings. It felt like time had rotted here. I started taking pictures and making my way toward the old spa area in the basement. That's where a lot of paranormal activity has been reported. People have reported hearing whispers, seeing shadows, and the feeling of being watched. And sure enough, as soon as I stepped into the basement corridor, I felt it. That shift in the air. It wasn't just cold, but it was charged with energy, like the moment before a lightning strike. I took out my EVP recorder, hit record, and softly asked if anyone was here with me. I wasn't expecting a response right away, but then, clear as day, I heard something. Footsteps. Not faint or distant, but right behind me, heavy and deliberate. I spun around, my heart pounding. And no one was there. But the air smelled different now, almost like damp roses. My mind raced. Was it the ghost of the mistress? Was I standing where she had once walked? I took a step forward, and that's when I saw it. A shadow. A figure, tall and thin, standing at the far end of the corridor. I could make out its head and its shoulders, and it wasn't moving, but it had to be aware of me, right? And then suddenly, it did move, but not in the way a person moves. It shifted in a distorted way, like it was glitching in and out of reality. And then in the blink of an eye, it was much closer to me. I staggered back, my breath itching. Every instinct screamed at me to run, but my legs were frozen. Then the lights flickered on. The lights shouldn't even be working in a place that has been abandoned for decades. Thank you, Tracy. And in that brief illumination, I saw its face, or rather, the absence of one. A smooth, featureless void where eyes and a mouth should be, and yet somehow I could still feel it watching me. And that's when the whispering started. A chorus of voices, overlapping, all around me. And I realized then that I wasn't alone. There were countless others pressing in from the darkness. I bolted. I hardly remember the feeling of my feet slamming against the tile as I ran back toward the staircase. Thank you, XTR. I love that one. The whispers turned into shrieks, and the air became so thick I felt like I could barely breathe. I made it to the lobby, out of breath, but something was wrong. The grand staircase wasn't where it was supposed to be. The layout of the building had changed. My stomach twisted as I realized I was no longer in the same Baker hotel I had walked into. The building had shifted around me, trapping me in a version of itself that shouldn't exist. Panic clawed at my throat, but I forced myself to focus. If the building wanted me lost, I had to outthink it. So, I turned sharply, heading toward the entrance that I had come through. I didn't dare look back. I just ran. My only thought was getting out before whatever was following me caught up. The second my hands touched the door handle, I felt something brush against my back. Ice cold, like a breath from something that was not alive. And then suddenly, I was outside. The night air hit me like a slap and I stumbled forward, gasping. The hotel loomed behind me, silent once more. I turned, expecting to see movement in the windows, but there was nothing, just darkness. I don't know what I encountered that night or what happened to me, but I've spent weeks looking, and there are reports buried deep in Old Town records of people vanishing inside the Baker Hotel even during its heyday. Guests who checked in but never checked out. And that's the tale of the Baker Hotel. Thank you, Holly. God, I love that one. God, that's cute. I really like that one. Thank you so much. That is just adorable. He's so cute. Like, why is he so cute? I know, it's so cute. Right, Lean? Just like Hotel California. All right, you guys, welcome in. If you're new here, my name is Devin, and this is Porch Lore. And I tell spooky bedtime stories to help you relax your nervous system and fall asleep. And I'm here every night from 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time until about 1 in the morning. Yes, we did Fat Bottom Girls, and it was adorable. Thank you, Sherry. Thank you, always, Steven. Thank you, Carrie. I do write and record all these stories myself, so you can listen to them whenever you would like on my YT channel, as well as all of the podcast streaming sites. I also have recordings of these lives available on my YT channel as soon as it is over, so you can watch anything you missed if you feel compelled to watch the lives. I also have a bedtime stories playlist on my YT channel that has all of these stories recorded by me, and you can just hit shuffle and fall asleep to them. Thank you, Whitney. All right, and I'm going to get the diner story ready. It is grilled cheese time. And if you're new here, we end every live. Which one, Sherry? And if you're new here, we end every live with the tale of the night shift at Sycamore Diner. And hi, John. And you will be craving a grilled cheese by the end of this story. So grab a beanbag chair, grab a hammock, sit back and relax, watch the shooting stars, and welcome to the porch. Happy Friday. I'll be right back with the Sycamore Diner. Thank you, Tracy. Thank you, Lean. Submitted for the approval of the Porch Pal Society. This is the tale of the night shift at Sycamore Diner. I'm not usually the kind of person who pulls over on back roads at night. Not unless I absolutely have to. But that night, something about the storm, the long drive, and that growling pit in my stomach convinced me otherwise. I was hungry. It was late October and I was headed back to campus after a weekend visit with my friends in North Carolina. I had a midterm on Monday and my plan had been to drive straight through, 5 hours, no stops. But then came the rain. One of those cold, slanted, whispery rains that creeps into your bones and makes the windshield wipers sound like a heartbeat. Hi, spooky bestie. I had taken the wrong exit trying to bypass traffic, and I ended up on a 2-lane back road, surrounded by nothing but pine trees and power lines. And that's when I saw the neon sign. SYCAMRE Diner. The O in Sycamore was flickering like it hadn't worked right in years. But the rest was lit up in a cherry red neon. A tiny beacon in the middle of nowhere. I figured I'd grab a quick bite, maybe some coffee, check my map and get back on the highway. But I should have just kept driving. I should have known something was off the second I stepped inside. The bell over the door jingled, but not like a normal bell. It made this sharp metallic ping that echoed longer than it should have. The air inside was warm, almost too warm, and it smelled like grilled onions and pancake syrup. The place looked like it had been yanked straight from 1957. Checkerboard floor, red vinyl booths, a long counter with spinning stools, even a jukebox in the corner that looked like it hadn't worked in decades. And the people? They all stopped and looked at me the second I walked in. Not in a rude way, just quiet. Like they weren't expecting me. Like I'd walked into the middle of a sentence that no one wanted to finish. A waitress, tall, with a beehive hairdo and a light blue uniform, smiled and waved me over. "You get caught in the rain, sweetheart," she said, handing me a laminated menu. I nodded, still trying to shake off that weird feeling. "Yeah, the highway's a mess." She chuckled and patted my shoulder. "Well, you're safe here. Sycamore's always open for travelers." I sat down at a corner booth and the vinyl creaked. And I remember the jukebox shifted songs by itself and started playing some slow doo-wop ballad that I didn't recognize. I looked around, and everyone looked normal, sort of. There was a trucker with a thick gray beard, drinking coffee at the counter. A young couple whispering to each other in a booth by the jukebox. And an older woman stirring tea like she was lost in thought. But they all had the same look in their eyes, like they were there, but also somewhere else. Like they were watching me out of the corner of their eyes, even when they were looking down. The waitress came back with coffee, strong, hot, and surprisingly good. And I ordered a grilled cheese with fries. Simple, safe. She wrote it down with one of those clicky pens and said, "Don't worry, it's on the house tonight." And that was my second red flag. No diner just gives food away. While I waited, I took out my map. I took out my phone to check my map. No signal, and I mean nothing. No bars, no Wi-Fi, not even GPS. Just a blank screen with a spinning wheel. I glanced out the foggy window, and the storm was still going, but now the wind had picked up. I could see the power lines swaying like jump ropes in the dark. But the diner stayed perfectly lit. Not even a flicker. The food came fast. Too fast. Like under 5 minutes. But it looked amazing. Golden bread, gooey cheese, crispy fries with a little metal cup of ketchup on the side. I took a bite. Delicious. I mean, I've eaten at a lot of diners, greasy spoons, college joints, and roadside shacks, but this was hands down the best grilled cheese I've ever had. The fries were perfect, and the coffee never ran out. Every time I took a sip, it was somehow full again. I was halfway through the sandwich when the trucker got up to leave. He walked right past my table, nodded once and whispered, "Don't stay past midnight." That's all he said. Just that. What? But he was already out the door. The waitress gave me a tight smile and walked over, collecting his empty mug. Old Earl, he's always saying weird stuff. Just ignore him. But I couldn't. Something about his voice stuck with me. Something about the way he looked at me, not like I was a customer, but like I was in danger. I checked the clock over the register. 11:42. I figured I had just enough time to finish my fries, grab the check, and head out. I still had at least 3 hours left on the road. But when I stood up, the lights flickered. Just once and then again. And then everything in the diner stopped moving. The couple by the jukebox froze mid-sentence. The woman with the tea stopped stirring, her spoon hanging in midair. The waitress, her hand reached out for a mug, just stopped. Like someone hit pause on the entire scene. I took a step back and the jukebox buzzed, glitched, and restarted a new track. I could still move, but no one else could. And then I heard it. Not music. Not a storm. A voice. Not coming from anyone I could see. Just a whisper that seemed to echo from the walls themselves. I backed toward the door, my heart hammering in my chest, and I turned the knob. Locked. Of course it was locked. I tried the windows, but they were sealed shut. I started banging on the glass and shouting, but no one was outside. Just wind and rain and that flickering red sign. SYCAMRE. Thanks, Fat Bottom Girl. I turned back toward the dining room, and everyone was gone. Not frozen anymore, just gone. The booths were empty. No plates, no crumbs, no mugs. No sign that anyone had ever even been there. Except for my plate. Still warm and still half eaten. And then I saw the waitress. She was standing by the kitchen doors, her silhouette backlit by flickering fluorescent light. Her face was wrong. The same smile, but her eyes were empty, black and endless, like someone had painted over them. "You shouldn't be here, honey," she said in that same cheerful voice. "Not yet." I stumbled back, knocking over a chair as she took one slow step toward me. The others, they were waiting. But you just wandered in. She raised a hand, and the walls began to shimmer. Literally shimmer like heat waves on asphalt. The checkered floor rippled, and the red booths started to fade, becoming outlines and then shadows and then nothing. And then I saw it. Thank you, Spooky Bestie. Underneath the illusion, it was charred wood, cracked tile, broken beams, and black soot. Like the diner had burned down long ago. I ran. I don't even remember how I got out. 1 second I was inside, and the next I was on the side of the road, soaked to the bone and gasping for air. My car was still there, parked on gravel that didn't even look like a lot anymore. Just weeds and puddles. No neon sign, no glowing windows, just nothing. I drove back to campus that night in silence. No music, no Porch Lore podcast. I kept glancing in the rearview mirror, half expecting to see that red neon flicker back to life. I didn't tell anyone. Not for weeks. Not until I finally looked up Sycamore Diner on a local history site. And I found it. It burned to the ground in 1972. A gas leak. The whole place went up at midnight, and everyone inside was killed. Thank you, Jen. 5 patrons, a waitress, and a cook. The photo in the article? The same checkerboard floor. The same red booths. The same neon sign. SYCAMO. And in the corner of the photo, that same waitress, smiling. Thank you, Tracy. I never took that back road again. I don't even drive at night anymore if I can help it. And every time I see a neon diner sign, something in me flinches just a little, because I know I was there. And I know I wasn't supposed to be. But the part that keeps me up sometimes, the part that really makes my stomach turn, that was the best damn grilled cheese I've ever had. And I didn't even pay for it. And that's the tale of the night shift at Sycamore Diner. Thank you, John. Thanks, Sherry. And with that, I will say goodnight, Porch Pals. I love you guys so much. The weather is starting to get nice here, so I will be starting doing my random pop-up outdoor adventures. I might do one tomorrow if I'm feeling better. If not, they'll probably start next week. And so just make sure you guys turn on the bell to get notified and join the Discord, because the Discord also alerts when I go live. So good night, everybody. I love you guys so much. I am so proud of the community we've built here. We are so lucky to have all found each other, and I'm grateful every night to spend my evenings with you guys. Good night, Spooky Bestie. You just found the best community on TT. And thank you to everybody else watching on the YT and the T-Witch. I love you all very much. I will see you guys again tomorrow, same time, same place, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you haven't been able to fall asleep, head on over to my YT channel. Thank you, Cindy. Head on over to my YT channel where there is a playlist called Bedtime Stories, and you will be out by like the second story, I promise. And don't forget to check out the merch store. Even if you don't want to buy anything, I think you guys will think this stuff is cute and find it really entertaining. And it's a lot of our inside jokes. And there's all kinds of fun items. There's even like a duffel bag. There's swimsuits. There's pillows, socks, all the fun things. So I love you guys very much. And I will see you again tomorrow. I hope you have sweet dreams. And don't forget, stay spooky.